Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you're all doing well. To start things off, Ethereum, the third largest cryptocurrency in the space, seems to be all set for the Constantinople hard fork for the third time. This time the upgrade is going to be different than the other proposed before, as this one will be two forks taking place at the same time. The first is the initial fork of Constantinople, and the second is the Petersburg fork. According to the latest announcement, the hard forks will be taking place around the 25th of February, 2019, instead of the 27th of February, 2019. The hard forks will occur around block 7.2 million. At the estimated time, that's actually crazy that they have an estimated time like that. Afri Shoden, the hard fork coordinator of Ethereum and the release manager at Parity Technologies, said on Reddit, and I do quote, "Got a vague countdown. Constantinople will activate on Monday, 25th of February 2019. Current average time is 16.9 seconds for each block, etc., etc. Notably, this is the third time the community is up for a hard fork, as the fork was postponed to a later date twice. The first time the fork was pushed to a later date was in the month of October at the after the Ropsten testnet Constantinople hard fork. During the testnet fork, the team encouraged issues with the difference between parity and Geth, along with consensus bug discovered in the parity implementation of Ethereum. As it stands right now, per the news, this seems to be the time frame that we are now given that we are going to have for the Constantinople hard fork. I want to say that I'm excited, but when you delay and postpone things 3 times, especially when we should have had this in early 2018 and then mid 2018 and then the end of 2018, and now we also didn't have it a couple weeks ago, and now we're supposed to have it on this date here. When it happens, it happens. That's kind of my thing. I don't know if the people from Ethereum are simply playing games, or they're trying to match when they think we're going to have a bull market or market sentiment is going up. I'm not exactly sure what it is. When we get it, we get it. I think that the price of Ethereum will go up accordingly once we have this, because once again, this lays the groundwork, framework, building site, whatever you kind of want to call it, for the proof of work, proof of stake, and what's the other thing? Where the reward also gets lessened for the amount of Ethereum that are going to be created. So as of now, the way that it stands is also kind of weird that this is also slightly a couple days off from the March time frame that everything else is also focusing on. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but let's hope that this actually ends up going off without a hitch, because the moment that they do, and then we can finally have proper clarity as to when we're going to get Casper, and I guess to a lesser extent also Plasma, this opens up the door for Ethereum to kind of reclaim its position in the market. And yeah, let's move on. So I thought that the news couldn't get any crazier, but lo and behold, this is just how the cryptocurrency space is working right now. The Mt. Gox exchange went under a series of hacks and lawsuits in 2013 and 2014. These events led to the loss of approximately 850,000 Bitcoin. That is 850,000 Bitcoin that were lost. Since then, users who had their investments locked up at the exchange have been trying to get back their funds. I remember when this happened, it was actually completely insane. There were a lot of people, I foolishly thought that this would be resolved in a couple of weeks or months around this time. There were people like standing outside with like picket signs and stuff like that. They flew to Japan to try and get their money back, and nope, didn't happen. A group of Mt. Gox creditors has thus banded together to create a new movement known as Gox Rising. The movement is registered by the British Virgin Islands under Gox Rising Limited and aims to support creditors of the Mt. Gox estate by attempting to maximize their recoveries. The movement also has a goal of reviving the exchange, you heard that correctly, and create additional economic benefits for participating creditors. The final goal is to achieve a fully recovering of what was once lost. According to the movement's website, Gox Rising will present a detailed civil rehabilitation plan, or the CR plan, to the Japanese trustee by the 22nd of April of this year. Gox Rising has been proposed by controversial crypto celebrity known as Brock Pierce. Mr. Pierce claims that he successfully bought the 12% stake owned by Mt. Gox's funder Jed McCaleb, the name sounds familiar, for 1 Bitcoin as soon as the exchange imploded. McCaleb has yet to confirm the transaction, but Pierce added that his investment group of Sunlot Holdings handled the deal. According to the TechCrunch report, Pierce and Sunlot want to track down the missing crypto and have it properly assessed for redistribution. He explained to TechCrunch saying the following, and I do quote, crypto's a weird place. He said, like Game of Thrones, the last season of Mt. Gox hasn't been written, even though the last season of Mt. Gox has been written and it's going to be on television in a couple of weeks. What kind of ending do you want to make for it? I'm a Joseph Campbell fan, so I'm obviously going to go with a hero's journey, with a rise and fall and then a rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Sunlot Holdings needs at least half of the affected Mt. Gox creditors, approximately 12,000 people, to sign up to a creditors committee to get the ball rolling on the Gox Rising plan. Such a majority number would allow the process to move faster than it is right now. But he said instead of it taking 3 to 5 years, it'll take maybe just 1 year. Here's where it gets ridiculous. Additionally, Pierce wants to create a Gox coin for creditors who sign up to have a stake in the company. His plan is to have all Mt. Gox equity liquidated, then arrange to finance and tokenize an independent foundation that will run by the creditors to seek all Mt. Gox assets. The latter will be distributed pro rata to the holders of Gox coin. So, can you imagine? And this is why when I was reading this, I think I sat here stunned for a couple of seconds before, because I was like, can you imagine if in 5 years, 6 years, somebody comes forward and they're like, remember BitConnect? That didn't work out, but I'm coming back. I'm making BitConnect 3.5.0. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a new cryptocurrency that you don't really need that we're going to make, and we're going to start the whole process rolling all over again. I understand that people want to take matters into their own hands. I feel like just let it go. Things like this to me are publicity stunts, and they are kind of what's the word? You're doing this for attention because nobody in their right mind needs Mt. Gox to come back. We have at least 15, 17, maybe even 21 major cryptocurrency exchanges around the world that are doing just fine. I feel like with Bittrex, even to a lesser extent, Bitfinex, Binance, and Coinbase, we don't necessarily need Mt. Gox. If the Japanese government has been doing what they've been doing and things are supposed to be resolved this year for Mt. Gox, maybe just let these people get their money back and then kind of let it go. This could be an attempt to kind of, how do I say this? It could be shadowed or framed as them trying to make people not sell their tokens once they get them back, i.e. we're going to create a brand new place where you lost your money and you were scammed before, but this time it'll be even better because I'm going to be controlling it this time, and you don't have to worry. You can keep your coins with us because, like I said before, unless Bitcoin really gets it moving on the price, this selling off of 850,000 Bitcoin, we saw what it did, fractions of it did at the beginning of 2018. It brought the prices down. We have tons of information about this with the Mt. Gox creditor, the lawyer, whatever his name is, I think Kobayashi, selling off the coins that brought down the prices of all the cryptocurrencies because Bitcoin pushes around the market. If we have a situation where all these people get their Bitcoin back, I'm just being realistic. This isn't me spreading FUD. I told you guys before, if someone was giving you back $5 million in Litecoin or XRP or some other coin, you'd be like, wow, that coin sounds really cool, but I would like to have my money and my life back. So when these people get their coins back, they're probably going to sell it. And this is a big problem for because these coins, in essence, have not been in circulation in the cryptocurrency space. So I think them trying to revive Mt. Gox, I sincerely hope that this does not happen. I think this would be one of the most ridiculous things to ever happen to cryptocurrency in a very, very since the collapse of Mt. Gox. That's like trying to revive the Lehman Brothers and all these. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And to create a Gox coin, I don't really understand why people do things like this. I said it before and I'll repeat it again. I feel like it's just for attention. We have a lot of very rich people already in the cryptocurrency space who got rich because they got into Bitcoin when it was around 10 cents, 15 cents, $1.50. They go on TV and they brag about it, so they're already very rich, and I feel like that they think they can do things that other people can't do because they've been in this space for so long, and therefore they know what's kind of right. Please don't revive Mt. Gox. First of all, remember where we had a situation last year where we had at least 15 different cryptocurrencies, and they weren't numbered 800, they weren't number 1651. They were some of the top 100 coins. They were being attacked by 51% attacks and trying to be torn apart and stuff like that. I have a very strong feeling if this tries to get revived, we're going to have an enormous amount of people who are going to be DDoSing the heck out of that website and trying to tear it apart limb from limb. If this ends up happening, please use your noggin. That is your head for those who have no idea what the word noggin means. And just realize the past of this website. I don't care if this ends up becoming the coolest looking cryptocurrency exchange in the entire world. The revival of Mt. Gox is probably one of the, I don't want to say the word desperate, but it's kind of like just really let it go. We don't need Mt. Gox. We don't need Mt. Gox to come back, and we also don't need a Mt. Gox token. I'm certain in the year 2025, someone's going to try and revive BitConnect. I can feel it, and they're going to try and revive it as a security platform. And they're also going to have a brand new token, and they're going to try and get some of the biggest names in cryptocurrencies to back them. I don't get it. Let's move on. Next up, the Italian House of Representatives has approved a bill defining blockchain distributed ledger technologies such as DLT or blockchain. This was reported by Cointelegraph Italy a couple of days ago, with 275 votes in favor, 206 against, and 27 abstentions. The bill, dubbed Semplificazione, has moved forward. The Agenzia per l'Italia Digitale will now define the technical criteria that smart contracts will have to comply with in order to have legal validity. Maria Laura Mantovani, a member of the Italian parliament in the Movimento Cinque Stelle party, has told Cointelegraph that a favorable use case for blockchain is its application in online voting. However, Mantovani noted that there are not projects in place to implement such systems. I can't read today. According to her, the M5S party is currently looking for researchers able to prove the efficiency of blockchain for voting. Point is, breeze over article. We now have information from the Italian Parliament, government, about what what blockchain and distributed ledger tech actually is. Another country who's come forward with their information. It's kind of, and I don't know exactly the scope of the entirety of this, as far as the EU has announced that they want like a similar framework for the entirety of Europe to be able to follow when it comes to cryptocurrencies, but every single country also seems to be releasing their own little tiny thing, so I assume there will be like a blanket thing, kind of like the euro, and every country will have their own little jurisdiction and say as to exactly who can do what and exactly what is what. Anyway, good job on another country finally coming forward and telling us what's what instead of waiting for other countries. Yeah. Right. So this one I think is actually kind of interesting. It kind of follows what I've been thinking, but, you know, I'm just one person, so I can't really say. There is it says a few hours ago, a well-known online crypto analyst known as Galaxy BTC, who has a Twitter following of around 47,000 users, noted that the current price action being witnessed by Bitcoin was similar to a technical indicator that is commonly referred to as an Adam and Eve. As a result of this, the analyst now expects Bitcoin to move even further and scale up to a price point of at least $6,000 by the end of next month, which also then, once again, ties into the time frame that we've been talking about over and over between the February and March time frame when everything is supposed to be launching. For those who can't see this little thing right here, I think I opened it over here. Yep, so apparently this is the pattern that he's talking about. There's a dip, and we kind of do like a smooth-ish trend sideways, and then we kind of move up from there with some bumps in the road. And this is, I think it goes a bit further and kind of explaining that. It says, for those of our readers who may not be aware of what an Adam and Eve technical chart is, it is essentially a double bottom indicator that is representative of bullish move momentum that might be incoming from a financial asset. According to Galaxy BTC, if Bitcoin is able to break past its Adam Valley high of 4,300, it will most likely start on a journey towards a full-fledged economic recovery. And here's the other chart that he has over here. This one right here. We keep following the same patterns over and over. And apparently this is supposed to be the last little dip before we start going back up. Nobody knows what's going to happen as far as the prices of anything, cryptocurrencies. We had a lot of people, still have them, who say that from this wedge right here, we're going to slam down to the $2,000 mark for Bitcoin. No one really knows. I just think it's very fascinating. You have to admit the timing of all of this is a little suspect. Not to say that, I mean, this could have been one fantastic plan, all this volatility and stuff like that to kind of get people to get out of the market. The market goes up, it gives people hope, it kind of goes down. Rich people filling their bags, what have you, market's going sideways. I'm bored with the market, let me get out of the market. Market goes down, I'm even border with the market. And then we kind of get this fantastic move upward. It could all be planned, it could all be a lot of things, but once again, we saw, and it's very weird because we saw movements like this last year as well. Remember when the market was supposed to completely recover and everyone was gunning for that summer time frame? And then it didn't end up happening. We kind of, got where we are now, more or less. I think everyone is gunning for this same time period. Everyone is thinking that something is going to happen either the second half of this month. Not financial advice. It's just what I kind of keep seeing over and over everywhere on the internet. Every time that someone's talking about cryptocurrencies, or rather Bitcoin's price, everyone's talking about the second half of February until the beginning of March. Will be the movement upward that we've all been waiting for. If we could get past if we can get past 5,000, I'd be happy. If we can get past 6,000, that would be. I might even throw a little party, maybe just for myself, because this is the price is going down. It's a bit too much now. It's not so much like me complaining. It's more like it's impossible for something in any other instance in the world. Can you imagine if Apple had nonstop good news throughout the entirety of 2018 and then their stock went down? It just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But these are the charts. So, I mean, we maybe have a couple more weeks, months, who knows? Let's see if it actually ends up happening. To kind of finish things off, in a tweet yesterday, the team at Bakkt announced that they have completed all the necessary proceedings necessary for the firm's acquisition of the Rosenthal Collins Group, or the RCG. Bakkt has welcomed its new team members from the RCG and looks forward to working with them in building the infrastructure that will support its seamless global platform for buying, selling, storage, and spending of digital assets. The tweet by Bakkt can be found below. Here's the actual tweet right here. CEO of Bakkt, her name is Kelly Loeffler, informed the investor and crypto communities of the firm's acquisition of the RCG on the 14th of January of this year. RCG was an independent futures commission merchant with a reputation that spans almost a century. When RCG announced in December that it was selling all its customer accounts to Marex Spectrum, Bakkt saw an opportunity to purchase certain valuable assets related to the development and developing its revolutionary platform. I do applaud them, and I mean this sincerely. The people from Bakkt have made sure to keep us in the loop tremendously. Every other thing that we've had launching in the cryptocurrency space, about 85% of them have either gone silent. We don't hear about them for months. Even with delays, they still make sure to tell us that they are delayed. You know, you maybe realize every single time for anything that there's a delay, we tend to hear about it from a secret source, or we hear about it from someone else who won't give us their name. The people from Bakkt, they go onto Twitter immediately and they tell us exactly what's happening, what's wrong, how they're going to fix it, what they're waiting for, what they just got, who they acquired, who they're hiring. It's very nice to be kept abreast of all these things, because a lot of other, I mean, first of all, they're also, to be fair, they're also the New York Stock Exchange, so they understand the importance of constant news updates, because people who are in this space, especially like for traditional finance, I don't know if you know this, you need constant news to be able to think about what you're going to do in the market. The same exact thing goes for the quarterly reports and all these other things. So I'm pretty sure that they're just used to this level of professionalism as far as like giving the news when it comes out that needs to be known, because it would be pretty weird if, can you imagine if we hadn't heard from the people at Bakkt since November when they were trying to launch the first time? People would have completely lost their minds, but they know exactly what they're doing. So it's very nice to, I mean, really nice to hear that they constantly give updates. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. The market's not looking too bad. It's in the red, but we're typically in the red during the weekends. Nothing is down by, 15, 25%. So we can all be slightly thankful for that. Bitcoin is still trying to push to that $3,700 amount. Hopefully we end up getting there relatively soon. I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Vlad the Impaler, Gil Boa Snake, Rai Rai, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Arthur Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangialavori, Travis Haynes, Gordon Nikic, and Yasha Harari. Thank you all very much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.